of fear, raise our hands in the air, screaming, we are still here.
My name is Lara Kaspari. I'm from Palestine. I came to Dublin in 2019 to do my Master's of Science in International Relations at University College Dublin. I'm involved in several projects. I'm a member of the steering committee of an organization called Girls 20 that aims to place young women at the center of decision-making processes. I'm also an officer in the Advisory Council of Tech Girls, which is an exchange program designed to empower and inspire young women from different places such as the Middle East and North Africa to pursue careers in science and technology. When the pandemic started, I was still doing my master's in Dublin. And I think the way the pandemic affected me mostly is socially. And I think because, exchange and international students had a very unique experience with the pandemic. Being far away from their families in the middle of a crisis is very challenging. In a situation like this, you would want to be home around your family, and that is something was not possible at the moment. Also, because I had a master's to finish and a research to do in the summer, and I also didn't want to travel and risk my health or my parents' health and my family back home. So it is very challenging in being abroad, far away from home, and not being able to go back home, and also being relatively new to a new city, a new environment, and under lockdown. Those interactions and connections that are made on a daily basis, once they were gone, I realized how important they were. I mean, what supported me the most, and I think what supported a lot of international students, is the ability to connect online through digital platforms. And despite the distance, I was able to talk to my family, I was able to talk to my friends and stay connected. There's a global increase in domestic violence during the pandemic. And it really also showed and exposed the fragility of the resources and the support that are available for those affected. But this kind of thing enabled activists to, bring attention to this issue, speak up more about it, and really push forward for better resources to support, for example, women who face domestic violence. I come from Bethlehem. In Palestine. I've lived there most of my life, and Bethlehem is a very touristic city, and as you can imagine, during the pandemic there's not a lot of tourists coming to Bethlehem, so it's really struggling and suffering from a lot of economical difficulties and challenges. One of the really amazing initiatives I've seen is the community really coming together in such a situation. So, for example, the initiative that I've seen is they brought in donations and created boxes of essentials, from food to even health related essentials such as sanitizers and things like that, together in kind of an essential box, and given out to families who were most damaged or from the pandemic or affected from the pandemic. So those kind of initiatives are super important. They may seem really simple, but they make a huge difference to the community, because each donation, each initiative makes a big difference, no matter how small it is really making a huge difference. I think that's something very important, that each activist to remember, that each act of kindness, each act of initiative makes a difference in someone's life, and that really changes the world around us. I think what I'm most proud about is the ability to speak up about those issues, especially of gender equality within my community, and seeing the change firsthand. I think experience the impact of, speaking up and activism within my surrounding community and seeing the results is what really keeps me going and what motivates me to stay active in the domain of advocacy and activism. For example, I've given workshops about feminism and advocacy, especially in areas of conflict, and having those conversations with other people and raising awareness about these issues, I think is what I'm really proud of and really happy to share with the people, because I've really seen the difference in I don't know how to explain it, but it's when people come back to me after a workshop and say, that was so informative, or that really changed the way I think, and that really motivates me to take action in my own community, or I want to hold a similar workshop in my community as well and talk about gender equality. That is amazing to me and really powerful, and a really strong personal motivator for me to continue to talk about really important issues such as gender equality in my community. What I want to be remembered for, I think that's such a deep philosophical question that is important to ask ourselves as well. But I guess if I wanted to be remembered for something, I'd say that, remembered for this funny Palestinian girl that believed that each act of kindness can change the world, that was crazy enough to believe that we can all live together in peace and in a loving kind of world.